They organized protests calling for the establishment of Khalistan.
हम उससे सहमत नहीं हैं। वो हमारे सिखों का कोई नुमाइंदा नहीं है, कुछ लोगों का नुमाइंदा हो सकता है।
저는 코리아인이라서 한국어를 배우기 시작했어요.
The crime took place in the parking lot of a Gurudwara, a Sikh place of worship like this in Canada. Two men drove up to Hardeep Singh Nijjar and shot him. The 45-year-old Canadian Sikh was killed. And months later, India and Canada fell out over who's responsible for the killing. The echo of the gunshots that killed Nijjar still linger here. The Harmandir Sahib Gurdwara, better known to the world as the Golden Temple. Located here in Punjab, India's only state with a Sikh majority, this is the most important place of worship for Sikhs. The organization that runs the Golden Temple elects the Jathedar of the Akal Takht, considered the supreme religious authority in Sikhism. And this organization, the Shiromani Gurudwara Prabandhak Committee or the SGPC, has raised concerns about Canada's allegations that Indian agents had a role to play in that killing that took place over 10,000 kilometers away.
लेकिन एक सिख है, जब सिख को मारा गया उसका इशू है, तो श्रोमणी कमेटी और सिख मान सकता उनके साथ खड़ेगी। ये नेचुरल बात है। हम चाहते हैं कि कनाडा का प्राइम मिनिस्टर इस बात को साबित करे, और अगर साबित करता है तो ये हमारे देश के लोग उसका जवाब दें कि आपने ये क्यों किया।
Nijjar, the man that was killed, was a key member of the Sikhs for Justice group. They organized protests like these mainly in the West, calling for the establishment of Khalistan, an independent state for the Sikhs. Nijjar himself was born in Punjab, though he later settled in Canada working as a plumber.
He was definitely a very family-oriented, would wake up 6 o'clock in the morning to start his plumbing business, work till 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then start his political activities. So his life is more of a political activism.
Pannu himself is also an activist for the group. India's top anti-terror body accuses him of radicalizing young people by demanding a separate Sikh nation. However, Pannu says his demand for Khalistan is justified because it's rooted in history.
This goes back to 1849 when the British annexed the state of Punjab. Punjab was an independent state.
Indian government has banned Sikhs for Justice for its, quote, anti-India activities. The group's demand for a separate Sikh state doesn't find that much support here in Amritsar, considered Sikhism's spiritual capital. The SGPC, an umbrella organization of all Gurudwaras in India, looms large over the political and spiritual lives of Sikhs. And it has distanced itself from Sikhs for Justice's call.
वहाँ पर एक सो कॉल्ड खालिस्तानी है पन्नू, हम उससे सहमत नहीं हैं। वो हमारे सिखों का कोई नुमाइंदा नहीं है, कुछ लोगों का नुमाइंदा हो सकता है, लेकिन मैं खालिस्तान की मूवमेंट में नहीं हूँ।
On the streets, many didn't want to address the issue of Khalistan on camera. Off camera, they tell us their concerns. Some worry about being targeted by radical Sikh organizations if they publicly criticize the Khalistan movement. Others fear government action if they openly support it. But whichever side they support, both sides agree that Nijjar's killing has had an impact on the reputation of the Sikh community. Some in India are painting all Sikhs as secessionists, labeling them separatists and at times terrorists. And many blame India's national media for providing these voices a platform.
ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਹੀ ਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਗੋਦੀ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਵਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਉਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਬਦਨਾਮ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਰੇ ਵਰਲਡ 'ਚ।
ਰੈਪੂਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਤੇ ਕੁਝ ਹੱਦ ਤੱਕ ਹੈ ਹੀ ਆ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਕੋਈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਖਾਲਿਸਤਾਨ ਨੂੰ ਮੰਨਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਵੀ ਗਲਤ ਗੱਲ ਆ, ਉਹ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਵੇਖਦੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਖਾਲਿਸਤਾਨੀ ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, ਉਹ ਮਤਲਬ ਗੱਲ ਗਲਤ ਹੈਗੀ ਉਹ।
Officially, Sikhs make up less than 2% of India's population, but statistics show that globally they make up the world's 6th largest faith system after Christians, Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists and Shintos. After the break, a deeper look at the community and its relation to the Indian state. Sikhs wear their faith with pride. The turban is one distinguishing characteristic of many Sikh men and sometimes women. Sikhs form the majority of the population here in India's northwestern state of Punjab.
कि जिनको आप नीच बोल रहे हैं भी गुरु नानक जी उनके साथ हैं। ये सामाजिक जो ढांचा ध्वस्त हो चुका था उसको मुड़ पे उसारा।
Sikhs refer to the Guru's teachings on peace, justice and inclusivity. And this is best embodied by the langar, where food is given out for free to everyone who comes to a Gurudwara. Here at Golden Temple, 700 people eat every 20 minutes, 24/7, bringing together diners of different faiths. Another characteristic of Sikhism is the faith's intertwined relationship with the concept of power.
भक्ति अकेले नहीं चल सकती जितनी देर शक्ति उसके पहरे पे नहीं रहती। कोई भी आदमी है जो सिक्खी फलसफे में है उसको संत और सिपाही बोलते हैं। वो धार्मिक भी होगा और तलवार पकड़ के सिपाही भी होगा।
Sikhs are united by a definitive culture, but one issue is creating differences within the community. On the fringes, some Sikh leaders are placing more emphasis on this militant aspect of Sikhism. Here, the preacher is taking a vow to train young Sikhs to create a Khalsa army, or an army of the pure. This magazine was being distributed to everyone at that meeting, and it talks extensively about Sikh pride. It paints a picture of how fair and how glorious a separate Sikh state could be. It's fairly common to find magazines and other promotional material like this across Punjab. But locals tell us the idea doesn't have too many takers here. These public gatherings and sermons are the closest that Punjab has openly to the pro-Khalistan protests conducted in the West. They talk about allegations of historical oppression of Sikhs and discrimination by the Indian government, and they are often covered by local media. Despite that, political observers say their hold on Punjabi voters is negligible. Political candidates openly supporting the Khalistan issue seldom win regional, state assembly or national legislature elections.
जहाँ तक पंजाब की ताल्लुक है, पंजाब के लोगों का पूरी तरह से रिजेक्टेड है, कोई खालिस्तान की बात नहीं है। ये वही लोग हैं जो पंजाब के जो विदेशों में बैठे हुए लोग हैं, वो जो हैं कि भाई वो खालिस्तान की बात करते हैं।
The idea of a state ruled by Sikhs according to Sikh principle dates back to the reign of the first king of the Sikh Empire in the early 1800s. Today, among the people in Punjab, there's still some support for the fundamental idea of a Sikh state governed by Sikhs, but not so much for political separatism. For many, the memories of the armed Khalistan insurgency, which peaked in the 1980s and lasted more than a decade, are still fresh. At the height of the insurgency, India's Prime Minister Indira Gandhi ordered security forces to kill prominent preacher Jarnail Singh Bhindrawale, who had sought shelter in the Golden Temple. It was a decision that led to Mrs. Gandhi being assassinated by two of her Sikh guards. Operation Blue Star badly damaged Gurudwaras and the Golden Temple itself, and is still seen by many Sikhs as the Indian state insulting Sikh culture. That was a time of frequent curfews and a brutal crackdown in Punjab, when many Sikhs left India for Canada, the UK and the US for greener and more peaceful pastures. Locals say things have changed for the better now, and that relation between Sikhs and the Indian government are no longer strained. The murder of Hardeep Singh Nijjar may have brought up memories of that once tense relationship, but people here say the killing is not about the death of a separatist leader. They care because a Sikh man was murdered. Sikhs are both a minority in Canada and in India. So, for them, it's more a question of how the powers that be respond to the loss of a Sikh life. A person's identity is not completely dependent on where he or she may be born. As we have seen with the case of Sikhs here in Punjab, it's also about deeper roots that go further back. Next, we travel up to Central Asia, where we met with a little-known minority.
Practicing Korean dance in the city of Almaty in Kazakhstan. These dancers are not Korean nationals. They are Uzbeks. They share a special identity with 500,000 others like them. They are what are known as Koryo Saram, the name for ethnic Koreans here in Central Asia. They descend mostly from farmers from the northeastern province of Hamgyong, now part of North Korea. In the 1860s, about 100 of these farmers made their way to Russia's Far East in search of land and better living conditions.
살려갔습니다. 살라고 빈 땅. 빈 땅이 많으니까 거기 가지고 막 자체적으로 농사 짓고 그 농사 지은 거 먹을 수가 있으니까 괜찮았잖아요. 그게 주 원인이었습니다.
After Japan annexed Korea in 1917, more joined them. The Soviet Union was concerned these Koreans would spy for Japan during World War II, and Premier Joseph Stalin deported them further east to Central Asia. Most ended up in Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. Some keep close to their Korean roots.
고려인들이니까 우리는 모국에서 이렇게 멀리 떨어져 있으면서 여기서는 뭐 우리 문화 예술 뭐 지키고 발전시켜야 한 그런 역할을 하고 있어요. 그게 아주 중요하다고 생각해요. 그러니까 우리 자랑스럽죠. 이건 지켜야지. 우리 부모님들이 이거 다 만들었는데 우리는 지키고 가야죠.
Zoya Kim is an exception among Koryo Saram. Most don't speak any Korean. They communicate in Russian and other local languages. In recent years, as the South Korean economy prospers, more young Koryo Saram have become interested in learning Korean.
저는 코리아인이라서 한국어를 배우기 시작했어요.
네, 할머니가 저한테 자주 다양한 얘기를 했어요. 근데 제가 그때 잘 듣지 않았어요. 근데 이렇게 살아보니까 이런 얘기를 잘 들어야 한다고.
네, 안녕하세요. 앉으시고요.
고려 말은 이제 집에서 조금 쓰는데 대부분 이제 밖에 나와서 러시아 말을 쓰다 보니까 어떻게 보면 이렇게 한글 학교가 개설이 되니까 정말 그 모국어 배우자 그런 생각으로 많이 찾아왔었죠. 나이 드신 분들이 쓰는 그런 고려말 그거하고 별도로 이제 순수 이제 표준 한국어를 배우는 거죠, 청소년들.
그 영화에 나오는 배우들이
Learning Korean is one way Koryo Saram are using to become more acquainted with their roots. For some others, the connection leads them to embark on a journey to a new place that oddly enough makes them feel right at home. "19-year-old Elisa Kim was born in Kazakhstan and speaks no Korean. But she says she feels a deeper connection with Korea than she does to the country where she was born."
Вообще я считаю себя кореянкой, я представляю свою национальность как кореянка. А если говорить про какие-то традиции, наверное, то это тоже играет большую роль в моей жизни. Мне бы очень хотелось посетить Корею, ну вот для того, чтобы узнать, знакомиться со своей родной страной. И, в принципе, я считаю Корею достаточно продвинутой страной как в экономике и в других вопросах тоже.
Elisa is a fourth-generation Koryo Saram in Kazakhstan, and her parents have played a role in planting that sense of identity in her.
Не соблюдаем, все равно мы пытаемся сохранить наши те старые традиции, которые нам передают из поколения в поколение. И мы также хотим передать нашим детям. Но, к сожалению, с каждым поколением эти традиции меняются, исчезают.
Sergei was born here in Kazakhstan back when it was still part of the Soviet Union. His wife Elena was as well, and she learned from a young age that she was different from the kids around her.
Вот я когда была маленькая, мне было там 4 года или 5 лет, я пришла из детского сада, и мама историю мне рассказывала. И тогда для меня вот впервые мама рассказала, что ты не русская, ты кореянка. И я думаю, ну как же так, все русские казахи, а мы корейцы. И это было очень странно. Мне казалось, что мы инопланетяне, потому что корейцев вокруг не было.
That discovery eventually led her to retrace the steps of her grandparents.
И в прошлом году вот нашей группой была организована экспедиция во Владивосток. Из разных городов ребята наши, вот Корyo Saram, собрались и отправились на те места, где когда-то жили наши прародители, дедушки, бабушки. И вот в прошлом году лично для меня открылась новость, что мой дед поселился на улице Хабаровская во Владивостоке в возрасте 15 лет.
Some Koryo Saram went even further, to the land they once heard about when they were young.
저를 할머니가 키웠어요. 네. 그래서 많이 들었죠. 한국말. 그거 산 많이 있는 거랑 뭐 바닥도 있다고 바다. 언제든지 한 번이라도 갈 수 있을지.
One day she heard from a friend about how she could come to South Korea. She made the journey and is now the proud owner of 4 flower shops, living here in the port city of Incheon with her 2 children. Irina is one of more than 100,000 Koryo Saram in South Korea, scattered all over the country. There are more than 5,000 people living here in Hanbak village, which is located in Incheon city. The majority of them are from Central Asia, especially from Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, people who refer to themselves as Koryo Saram. Signs in Russian line the streets here. There are businesses that serve this special community of mainly foreigners, like this convenience store, open 24 hours a day.
그 외국 사람들이 뭐 6시부터나 아니면 저녁 밤 늦게까지 일하고 있으니까 여기 편하게 오시고, 사람들이 여기 뭐 2시도 밤에 올 수도 있고 아침에 5시도 오고, 그 알바를 하기 가고 있잖아요. 6시도 여기 사람들이 막 있어요.
Tanya hires more than 40 Koryo Saram to work in the bakery that's attached to the store. It makes bread and pastries, food they ate back home in Central Asia. Many Koryo Saram are able to live in South Korea through a preferential employment permit for overseas ethnic Koreans. They work in agriculture, manufacturing, and construction. These ethnic Koreans may share the same race, but the different nationalities don't always find common ground. To help resolve issues, Kim Dae-ho runs a community center with programs to promote interaction.
고려인과 한국인들을 계속 만날 수 있게 하는 접점을 찾는 거죠. 찾아서 이게 만나지 않으면 오해가 생기고 갈등이 생기거든요. 결국에는 만나야 뭐 싸움도 하고 밥도 먹고 그래야 오해가 풀리고 수많은 다양한 프로그램들을 하고 있는데
그런데 한국 사람들 입장에서 볼 때 안정된 사람들보다는 국내에 들어온 사람들은 좀 경제적으로 안정되지 못한 사람이 들어올 수밖에 없고 이 사람들은 고국으로 다시 리턴한다기보다는 한국에 살려고 하는 그런 의지가 강해요.
Having been here for 15 years and having to carve out a new life for herself before bringing her children over, Irina knows life isn't a bed of roses for overseas ethnic Koreans. Just having a Korean background doesn't mean they will find it easy to fit in. But one thing kept Irina on this thorny path.
그 전에 그런 고향 같은 의미도 없었어요, 저한테. 없었어요, 고향 별로. 지금은 네, 제 자리에 있는 것 같아요.